All right. Hey, I'm Pastor Theron. Welcome to Church Where You Are and Story Sermons, relating life's experiences to the Bible. I'd like to tell you a story. But first, I'd like to say a special word of welcome and thanks to some new viewers, particularly my buddy Rondo down in Florida. I served with him in the National Guard in Louisiana. And my friend Cy, who works in air conditioning there in the Lake Charles area. Thanks for watching, guys. I'd also like to say a special word of thanks to some people who will remain unnamed who have generously sent cards and letters and even included some support, and I really appreciate them. And the others of you who are watching and commenting, I really appreciate you. I hope you will continue to do so. I am now putting these videos as well as sermons and Bible study on YouTube, and the page is called Church Where You Are. Search for that, and hopefully it'll come right up. And if not, send me a message on Facebook Messenger, or you can text me or call me directly if you have my number, and I'll send you the link. So thanks for watching. Our passage today comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and also Hebrews 13. Chapter 9, 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 7 says this: Each person should give what they have decided in their heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16, it says, And do not forget to do good and to share with others, for with such sacrifices God is pleased. We're entering in now to the season of Lent. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday, which was just last week, and Wednesday, and continues on to Easter Sunday. It's a 40-day fast that focuses people to direct their attention to God and His work, and to Jesus and His sacrifice upon the cross, and the ultimate sacrifice that He would make of His life upon the cross, and resurrection the following Sunday morning, that Easter Sunday morning. And that's when the fast is broken. Among Catholics, they fast, especially on Fridays. They'll eat very small meals and usually without meat. Now, fish is permitted, and so where I lived in South Louisiana, it was a very Cajun area, very Catholic area, and my first church was in a very small town called Port Barre, just north of Lafayette. I had a number of notable members of the congregation. I've mentioned some of them in previous videos. I hope you'll check those out. But one in particular was a man by the name of Jim Tatman, and Jim's my buddy. Jim is originally from the area around Port Barre, Opelousas, Washington, just a few miles to the north up the interstate. In fact, where his family farm was when he was a small child, there is now a Great Bay Exxon gas station. He told me a story once that when he was a little kid, 10, 11 years old, he remembers plowing that field where that Exxon is. He was barefoot. He was 10 or 11 years old and plowing it with a mule and a tow behind plow. And that's the way he expected his life to continue, in a very poor area, in a very small farm as a child. But as fortune would have it, his dad got a job in the shipyards in New Orleans around about the time of World War II. And so here this young boy and his family moved to the big city of New Orleans, and that's when a businessman was formed. He took an apple crate and created a shoe shine stand out of it, and just as a small boy, 11, 12 years old, he would spend his days down on Canal Street and shine the shoes of soldiers and sailors as they walked by. I said, Jim, there must have been a ton of people out there in those days shining shoes. He said there was. It was a very busy time. There was a lot of people shining shoes. I said, how did you draw their attention, especially as a boy? He said, I would sing them a little song as I was shining their shoes. And that set him apart, you see. as time went on, he grew into just this quintessential businessman. I went to his house a lot. We talked business a lot. We talked business strategy. We talked investing. It was a great time for me, and I will always be thankful to him for his wisdom and his advice, and I appreciate it so much. The way he grew his business sense was back in the 70s and 80s. There was a new market coming into the world called mobile homes. And for anybody who is from that area, they know the name Jim Tatman, or as he's affectionately known in that area, Papa Tat. His catchphrase for selling mobile homes on the commercials is always, "We gotcha." So when you find the right price, or when you've shopped everybody else, come see Jim Tatman because we gotcha. And he did very well with his work and with his business sense. His grandkids now own the business and run it. He did well, but he never got like super wealthy. He told me, he said, I never got as wealthy as some people thought I was. But he did well, and he was generous. He was generous to me. He was generous to my family. He was generous to my kids. In fact, he would invite me to come up to his house. We would sit, we'd drink coffee together. He let me fish in his pond. My kids went camping on his land. We shot guns. I worked for him. He paid me well. I remember one day, my oldest son had graduated high school, and he just reached in his pocket and grabbed some money and handed it to me and said, "Here, give this to your son and wish him my best." And that's just the way he was. But one of the things I will never forget is when Jim and I would go to lunch. There was a couple places he really liked to go. One was called the Quarters. Oddly enough, it's right there in that Exxon station where his family farm was. And they had a Mexican restaurant, and he liked to order something called a chamunga. I don't know. It's a chimichanga. He just couldn't say it. So he said chamunga. And then I would translate to the waiter or the host or whatever. Our other favorite place to go was in Opelousas, and it was called the Cajun Cafe. It's not there anymore, but man, did they have some good food. Right down the main drag through Opelousas, in a little building, didn't have a whole lot of seating, family environment, the Cajun Cafe. It was excellent, and we would go out to lunch. Now, every Friday, as is tradition in Louisiana, or South Louisiana particularly, in this area, you have fish or seafood for Friday. And every Friday, sure enough, they would have one of my most favorite things, shrimp stew. So we would go down there, we'd order what we wanted for lunch, and every time Jim would pay. He's just generous that way. So one day we were eating, and I thought about getting a bigger plate. I thought about maybe getting a side of fried fish or something, and Jim said, "Well, I'm buying." So I tried to order light, tried to keep the bill down, tried to keep the amount down, and I said, he said, "I'll let you pay next time." I said, "Great." So I looked forward to next time, man. I was excited about it. I was gonna try to be generous back to him. I was gonna load up my plate with everything I wanted. So sure enough, next time showed up, and we went to lunch down at the Cajun Cafe. I ordered the shrimp stew. I got a large plate because it's awesome. I got an extra piece of fried fish. I got refills on my drinks. We got dessert. I was so excited because I was going to get to be generous in return. So I ordered everything I wanted. As we finished and our waitress brought the bill, Jim took it from her. I said, "Hold on, man." I said, "It's my turn to pay." He said, "No, I told you could pay next time." I said, "I know, this is next time. You told me last time I could pay this time." He said, "No, I told you could pay next time." And that's when he always let me pay. He always let me pay next time. I never got to pay this time, but I always got to pay next time. And that's just the way it always went. Next time. You can pay next time. And as much as I tried to argue the point, he won over, and his generosity was such that he never let me pay. He always let me pay next time. You know, each of us has an opportunity to be generous to those around us. And I hope that this story will inspire you to be generous to uh, people that you might come into contact with. You might be the inspiration for some young guy, some young woman coming up, not having a whole lot, to inspire them to have a great story to share and an example of what generosity looks like. So, my thanks to you, and my thanks to him, and to all my viewers, and to the many, many people who have been generous to me and with me through my life. Thanks for watching.